An example, grant in aid agar sanction hota hai, it's a very huge amount. Government of India is giving such an amount to meet unforeseen expenditure to any of the states. Suppose Tamil Nadu में flood है, मैडम ने कुछ पैसा नहीं दिया, that is a complaint. Suppose मैडम पैसा देती है, finance minister sanction करती है, grants in aid, it is not loan, it is a grant in aid. That amount is huge amount. So that much amount is to be paid directly from the government funds by the pay and accounts officer directly. So उस केस में the sanction order must be addressed to the pay and accounts officer. Suppose, do you have, any of you have my noting drafting book? आपको वंदना, आपको पास है? नहीं है. आपका किसी और के पास है? हो सकता है. Some may have, some may not have. I'll give you a specimen. Otherwise, it is printed in my book. Last page में शायद it is printed. How a financial sanction whereupon, that is on which payment has to be made by the pay and accounts officer directly to the state government or whatever it is. ऐसा case में the order has to be addressed to the pay and accounts officer. So एक specimen उसमें दिया है. Otherwise, you can go to Google and get it. I'll give, in any case, I'll give a copy specimen of such an order to you before the class is over. That point need to be noted, because I have been telling you financial sanction or any other order, office order, need not be addressed. It is only to be endorsed. Lekin this is one peculiar exception where the payment has to be made on a financial sanction. That order has to be addressed to the pay and accounts officer. All other sanctions should be accorded in the form of an order which need not be addressed to any authority, but a copy thereof should be endorsed to the accounts officer concerned. In the case of non-recurring contingent and miscellaneous expenditure, the sanctioning authority should accord sanction by signing or countersigning the bill or voucher instead of by a separate sanction. कोई accounts में काम किया है तो you might have seen contingent bill कैसा होता है. Contingent bill means whatever money that is to be spent on the head of accounts, like books and publication, office expenses, stationery and things like that, motor vehicle and so on, उसको contingent bill form में claim किया जाता है. ऐसा करने के समय that is very very petty amount. That contingent bill में जो है, it need not be a very big amount. It will be petty amounts. All put together, you prepare one bill, attach so many vouchers. Then instead of issuing a financial sanction, you will, that head of the head of office will put an endorsement, put a signature endorsing. That will serve the purpose of sanction. Okay, separate sanction order issue nahi hota hai. That contingent bill form, there is a column where the head of office will put his signature, then that will serve the purpose of sanction. All financial sanctions issued by a department with the concurrence of internal financial wing of MOF, internal financial wing or Ministry of Finance, should be communicated to the AO. All financial sanctions issued by a department with the concurrence of MHA or C&AG or DOPT should specify the fact in the sanction along with the number and date relevant of relevant communication wherein concurrence was conveyed. Suppose you are asked to draft a communication, draft an order for the creation of a temporary post. उसमें ये सारा कुछ लिखते आएंगे. sanction the president is hereby accorded for the creation of first item. What post? Temporary post. How many posts? The undermentioned post. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3. One post means in the body itself it can come. For in what level? That is, after the 7th pay commission, you will have to mention what level and for which year. For 1 year, 6 months, or 2 years. Temporary post created for a period of how many years? That for what purpose? So all these things must be there. वो सब देने के बाद then name of the post, number of post, amount, amount of pay, ये सारा लिखने के बाद लास्ट पैराग्राफ में ये लिखना होता है that this sanction has the concurrence of the Ministry of Finance or Department of Expenditure by their number such and such. ये जरूरी mention होना चाहिए. Suppose you got DOPT's approval, DOPT's concurrence, वो सारा क्वेश्चन में होता है. You are not supposed to create anything. Question में clearly this has the concurrence of the MHA or DOPT or Ministry of Finance or the Ministry of Law, whatever it is given. That has to be the last paragraph. Okay. All orders conveying sanctions to expenditure should be expressed both in vigor. Any financial instrument, let it be a check, let it be a demand draft, let it be a promissory note, let it be sanctions, whatever it is, फाइनेंस संबंधित कोई भी ऑर्डर आप लिखेंगे उसमें इन फिगर्स एंड वर्ड्स ये लिखना बहुत जरूरी है. Sanctions accorded by head of the department may be communicated to the accounts officer by an authorized registered officer of his office duly signed by him on behalf of the head of the department or conveyed in the name of the head of the department. कोई भी sanction ऐसे photocopy करके भेजना नहीं चाहिए. That should be countersigned by a gazetted officer. All orders conveying sanctions to the grant of additions to pay, such as special allowance, personal pay, etc., should contain a brief summary of the reasons for grant so as to enable the accounts officer to see that it is correctly termed as a special allowance, personal pay, etc., etc. कोई भी फिनांस वो अलावेंस का ऑर्डर सैंक्शन होता है. कोई भी अलावेंस, मे बी इट इज स्पेशल अलावेंस. Now new nomenclature for special pay, वो special allowance or personal pay or any compensatory allowance, all these things should be explained and one copy should be marked to the accounts officer so that he will have a check whether it is correctly termed. ये financial sanction तो है, expenditure can be, but whether it is going to the right head of account, इसके लिए एक कॉपी अकाउंट्स ऑफिसर को मार्क करना चाहिए. Copies of all general financial orders issued by the department with the concurrence of the C&AG shall be supplied to C&AG. C&AG संबंधित कोई भी financial sanction हो, then you have to specifically make a mark to a copy should be marked to the C&AG. Copies of all sanctions or orders other than the following types should be endorsed to the accounts of. ये तो बेकार का बात है. सो नीचे जो दिया हुआ है उसका अलावा जो भी है उसको ये वो मार्क करना चाहिए. लैप्स ऑफ सैंक्शन, सैंक्शन वैलिडिटी कब तक है, लैप्स कब तक ये वैलिड है, उसके बाद वो इनवैलिड हो जाएगा इफ पेमेंट इज नॉट मेड. दो a sanction shall, unless it is specifically renewed, lapse if no payment in whole or in part has been made during the period of 12 months from the date of issue of such a sanction. एक sanction order 1st January में issue होता है. So if it is to be met from financial year budget, budget sanction budget grant for the year 24-25 ऐसा लिखने से this will expire before 31st of March next year. तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Then your payment has to be made within 12 months. अगर बजट का बात नहीं आता है, फाइनेंशियल ईयर का बात नहीं आता है, then a financial order, financial sanction will become invalid if no payment is made within 12 months of the date of the sanction. Provided that when the validity of the sanction is prescribed in the rules, regulations, or specified in sanction itself, it shall lapse on the expiry of such period. ऐसा कोई जो पहले बताया था, ऐसा कोई स्थिति नहीं आएगा अगर ऑर्डर में ही स्पेसिफिक डेट this order is valid or this expenditure should be incurred on or before, ऐसा कुछ लिखा होता है, then that will be the effective date. Then when it is specified in the sanction that the expenditure would be met from the budget provision of the financial year, it shall lapse at the close of that financial year. अगर budget का बात आ जाता है, financial year का बात आ जाता है, then it will expire by the end of that financial year. In the case of purchase of stores, a sanction shall not lapse. अगर purchase of stores के बारे में, we are actually dealing with purchase of stores. अगर purchase of stores के बारे में एक financial sanction है, that will not lapse if tenders have been accepted, proper procedure, tendering procedure is followed, tender floated, rates quoted, and then you have opened the tender, announced the lowest bidder, and then the contract is entered, then in that case, the indent has been placed on the basis of the contract, you have placed indent also. Then on the central purchase organization within the period of 1 year of the date of the sanction, even if the actual payment in whole or part has not been made, proper tender procedure follow करके इंडेंट इश्यू करके उसके ऊपर ये मटेरियल सर्विस सप्लाई हो गया, on which a claim is there, then that sanction will not lapse. Retrospective effect shall not be given to sanctions relating to revision of pay or grant of concession to government servants except in very special circumstances with the previous consent of the Ministry of Finance. Pay and allowances के बारे में retrospective sanction मना है, unless it is ratified by, it is with the concurrence of the Finance Ministry. A sanction to an advance of or a non-refundable part final withdrawal from Provident Fund shall, unless it is specifically renewed, lapse on the expiry of a period of 3 months. आपको GPF sanction, GPF withdrawal का sanction, ये सब ये 3 months तक valid है. If it is not, 3 months पार हो गया तो fresh sanction has to be issued. 1. Number 2, if it is to be drawn, withdrawal sometimes बच्चे का एजुकेशन के लिए विड्रॉयल लेते हैं, देन सेमेस्टर पेमेंट होता है, सो सेपरेट वैलिडिटी नहीं है. सो one issue that is, this will however not apply to withdrawals affected in installments. In such cases, the sanction accorded for non-refundable withdrawal from Provident Fund will remain valid up to a particular date to be specified in the sanction. वो 6 महीना के लिए एक रिन्यू करने की जरूरत नहीं है. If you are issuing a sanction order mentioning that this will be valid for, I'll tell you. Somebody is asking, what is retrospective sanction? I'll tell you. This withdrawal, GPF withdrawal, बच्चे का education के लिए होता है. Then in this sanction order, it is mentioned, it is valid for 3 years. Every 6 months for meeting the fees of the child, the amount, this part final withdrawal of this amount will be drawn. So then in the case, separate sanction for each installment need not be issued. Then in such cases, sanction accorded for non-refundable withdrawal from Provident Fund will remain valid up to a particular date to be specified in the sanction. Okay. Then main structure of government account. Government account kaisa mein? That is, government account means what we are going to discuss is not in the lowest rank, that is DDO. DDO जो अपना डिपार्टमेंट का पैसा जो सैंक्शन होता है उसको DDO ड्रॉ करके डिस्पोज करते हैं, उसके बारे में नहीं. At the top level, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का अकाउंट कैसा मेंटेन होता है, that is part 1. the accounts of government shall be kept in 3 parts, namely consolidated fund part 1, contingency fund part 2, and public account part 3. Part 1, consolidated fund is divided into 2 divisions, namely revenue and capital divisions. The revenue division comprises of revenue receipts and revenue expenditure. The capital division comprises of 3 divisions: capital receipts, capital expenditure, loans and advances. These are further divided as general services, social and community services, economic services, etc. In part 2, transactions connected with contingency fund of India are accounted. There is a single major head to record the transactions thereunder, which is conveniently divided into various details of heads. In part 3, transactions relating to public account, in which debts other than those included in part 1, remittances, deposits, advances, cash balance, etc. are recorded. That is बैंक account, बैंक में जो भी deposit होता है, GPF में जो होता है, NSC and other certificates issued by the government, for which the government is not the owner of the fund, they are only custodian in that case. So procurements, this is very important. पहले ये क्या है? What is retrospective, Hema? What is retrospective? That is always financial sanctions as prospective. That is आज क्या डेट है? 26 सितंबर को एक sanction issue होता है. That can become effective from 26 onwards, 27th September onwards, or any future date from now on. That is the way the financial sanction has to be. Lekin occasionally, peculiarly, specially, some sanctions are issued with retrospective. That is backdated sanction. Retrospective effect means backdated sanction. That is sanction तो आज का है, लेकिन effective date पीछे का है. कैसा? One example. एक आदमी पे फिक्सेशन में गलती है बोल के कोर्ट में जाता है. He goes to court challenging the pay fixation order on his promotion or his pay fixation in consequent to the pay commission report. वो गलत है ऐसा बोल के डिपार्टमेंट में रिप्रेजेंट करने से कोई फायदा नहीं. He went after exhausting all the channels. He goes to the court. Court gives an order. Yes, his contention is right, and pay has to be given effect with effect on the previous date. Then you don't have any choice. You will have to issue a sanction today, which will be effective from a back date. In that case, you will have to do that. So that such a sanction normally back date effective from a back date, वो नहीं हो सकता. That is a retrospective effect. Then procurement of goods and services. Procurement of goods and services. So ये generally exam purpose के लिए there are a number of questions from this section. Procurement of goods and services. खरीदारी कैसा होता है सरकार में? My experience during 1975, I was in an office, in a small office in Vijayawada. Temporarily, some junior accounts officer who was actually doing the purchase, local purchase. बहुत बड़ा purchase नहीं होता था उस समय. Total stationery का total sanction budget is only 10,000 or so. तो उधर खरीदने के लिए, कुछ सामान खरीदने के लिए, that person was not there, and I was asked to go and purchase. I prepared a list of items required, got it sanctioned, and then got it approved, and then went to the stationery shop. Market में हमेशा जिस दुकान से खरीदते हैं उधर गया था. वो मेरे को बिठाकर एक कप चाय पिलाया. उसके बाद लिस्ट को देखा है. वो पूरा लिस्ट पढ़ने के बाद वो बोला है आपको बिल्ली चाहिए और सामान भी चाहिए. इसका मतलब क्या है? ऐसा भी होता है तो सामान नहीं ले आते हैं, खाली डुप्लीकेट में बिल ले आते हैं. So only the bill will come, the material will not come. The fraud on the government exchequer. ऐसा भी होता है. मेरे को एक ही क्वेश्चन से सब कुछ समझ में आ गया. आजकल क्या करते हैं इन लोग, हैं? कैसा परचेसिंग कैसा होता है. सो प्रोक्यूरमेंट ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज, हम गुड्स परचेस करते हैं. इसी तरह वी आर प्रोक्यूरिंग not only goods but also services, consultancy service, outsourcing service. So not only goods, service of the service भी लेते हैं. So goods मतलब क्या है? They have described. ये सारा इतना लंबा चौड़ा लिस्ट, what is meant by goods for the purpose of this rule GFR. इसमें ये सारा you can just go through. It will go to your head because everything we are purchasing for office purpose, that is goods. But what is not goods, peculiarly, what is not good, that is the last sentence. That should go to your mind because that may be important point for our question in the exam. But excludes books, publications, periodicals, etc. for library. So now from the beginning, the term goods used here includes all articles, material, commodity, livestock. Livestock क्या है? घोड़ा गधा वगैरह, गाय वगैरह. Furniture, fixtures, raw material, spares, instruments, machinery, equipment, industrial plant, vehicles, aircraft, ships, railway, rolling stock, assemblies, sub-assemblies, accessories, a group of machineries comprising of an integrated production process or such other category of goods or intangible, नजर में नहीं आता है, electricity वगैरह, intangible products like software, technology transfer, licenses, patents or other intellectual properties purchased or otherwise acquired for the use of government, but excludes books, publications, periodicals, etc. for a library. किस लिए ये इसको बाहर छोड़ दिया मेरे को पता नहीं है, लेकिन बुक्स पब्लिकेशन को ये लोग गुड्स में नहीं मानते हैं. खरीदते हैं, खरीदने से उसको पैसा पेमेंट करते हैं, सब कुछ होता है, लेकिन फॉर सम पर्पस, मे बी देयर इज सम पर्पस, बट you have to remember, for exam purpose we have to remember, it is not coming under goods. The term goods also includes works and services which are incidental or consequential to the supply of such goods. हम एक मशीनरी खरीदते हैं, that is goods, we are purchasing that. उसको इंस्टॉलेट, वो उसको ट्रांसपोर्ट कराते हैं. Some may do it free on board. इसका मतलब हम नॉर्वे से कुछ इक्विपमेंट खरीदते हैं, उन लोग नॉर्वे पीपल उसको उठाकर शिप में रख देंगे, उतना तक उनका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. शिप में रखने के बाद वो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन जो है, दैट इज माय रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. इंश्योरेंस जो है, दैट इज माय रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. देन इट विल कम बैक, डिलीवर्ड इन द पोर्ट. आई हैव टू टेक डिलीवरी, ट्रांसपोर्ट द सेम, ब्रिंग इट टू द माय इंडस्ट्री और माय ऑफिस, get it fixed. All these things that also will include in the procurement. The term goods also includes works and services which are incidental or consequential to the supply of such goods, such as transportation, insurance, installation, commissioning, training and maintenance. यह सारा कुछ goods में ही आ जाएगा. Then fundamental principles of public buying. बेसिक चीज जो देखना है परचेस करने पर, वो क्या है? Every authority delegated with financial powers of procuring goods in public interest shall be transparent and fair in purchase of goods. ट्रांसपेरेंसी के बारे में मोदी साहब गवर्नमेंट आने के बाद बहुत कुछ बोला जाता है. ट्रांसपेरेंट होना चाहिए. Suppose tomorrow you are posted as stores officer or a purchase officer or any post relating to purchase of government, procurement of. What is purchase? What is procurement? Purchase is small items purchased. Procurement is government purchase, that is in large scale. So procurement का इंचार्ज आप बन जाते हैं उस समय you have to put everything in writing. आपको सब कुछ लिखित रूप से रखना चाहिए. Tomorrow, no, if you are posted in purchase section, unnecessarily you will be blamed. वो तो परचेस में है, ऐसा बोलने से it is a remark of contempt. तो आप कुछ भी नहीं करने से भी आपको ब्लेमिश आता ही आता है. वो लोग कुछ तो लेता होगा, है. सो ऐसा है, इसलिए बेटर अवॉइड डीडीओ का पोस्ट, वो परचेस ऑफिसर का पोस्ट, दिस आर ऑल. बट इन केस आपको कोई चॉइस नहीं है, यू आर पोस्टेड देयर डायरेक्टली विदाउट योर विलिंगनेस, देन यू सी दैट एवरीथिंग इज, वो बोलते हैं ना, इट इज सेड, it is not enough if you are honest, it should be known to all that you are honest. आप ऑनेस्ट रहने से दैट्स काफी नहीं है, सबको ये पता होना चाहिए यू आर हॉनेस्ट. तो दैट इज ट्रांसपेरेंसी, दैट इज ट्रांसपेरेंसी. Every authority delegated with financial powers of procuring goods in public interest shall be transparent and fair in purchase of goods. Then number 2, the procedure to be followed in making public procurement to the extent practicable. हाँ, कुछ चीज ऐसा लिखित रूप से लिखा, रूल्स में लिखा हुआ है, बट प्रैक्टिकली इट माय नॉट बी पॉसिबल. सो टू द एक्सटेंट प्रैक्टिकेबल should be objective, that is impartial. Should be objective and specify technical, qualitative and performance characteristics. That is, आप जो भी परचेस करते हैं, that should be specified. That is, टेक्निकली कितना साउंड होना चाहिए, उसका स्पेसिफिकेशन कैसा होना चाहिए, ये सारा कुछ ये पहले से ही लिखित रूप से होना चाहिए. शुड नॉट इंडिकेट ए प्रेफरेंस फॉर ए पर्टिकुलर ट्रेडमार्क और ट्रेड नेम और ब्रांड. आपको यही पसंद है, कभी बोलते हैं ना, आपका शक्ल से आप मेरे को पसंद नहीं है, आपको देखना मेरे को पसंद नहीं है. दैट इज, you may like to have something, you may not like to have something. So ऐसा कोई प्रेफरेंस नहीं होना चाहिए. सरकारी वो मुन्ना भाई MBBS, तो उसमें बोलता है ना, सर, if the body is to be operated, that body is in the operation table. If it is to be operated and I am behaving like a doctor and it is only a patient, then impartial, that is to be treated as. But it is my daughter's body that is there, I am going to operate upon that body, then हाथ कामता है. So you are supposed to be very, very impartial in the government purchase. Should not indicate a preference to a particular trademark. मेरे को यही पसंद है, मैं यही खरीदूंगा, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Should be as per the needs of the organization in terms of quality and quantity. क्वालिटी, हमें कौन सा क्वालिटी चाहिए वो खरीदना है, एंड कितना क्वांटिटी चाहिए उतना ही खरीदना है, not more than the occasion requires, occasion demands. Then should be based on recognized national standards. That is, you should purchase only standard items, not only the rates. You should not go by the rates alone. स्टैंडर्ड भी देखना है, क्वालिटी भी देखना है. देन शुड फॉलो ए फेयर एंड ट्रांसपेरेंट प्रोसीजर. इसके बारे में एक पूरा चैप्टर है इसका एंड में, क्या है ट्रांसपेरेंट प्रोसीजर, आई विल एक्सप्लेन लेटर. देन शुड सैटिस्फाई दैट द प्राइस ऑफ द सेलेक्टेड गुड्स इज कंसिस्टेंट विद द क्वालिटी रिक्वायर्ड. आपका पहले तो आपको क्या चाहिए, क्वालिटी ऑफ स्पेसिफिकेशन ऑफ द आइटम परचेज, वो पहले ये सेटिस्फाई करना है. लेटर ऑन यू विल फाइंड देयर इज अ 2-bid सिस्टम. देयर इज अ 2 इन द परचेज, देयर इज अ 2-bid सिस्टम. दैट इज टेक्निकल कोटेशन सेपरेट, फाइनेंशियल कोटेशन सेपरेट. दोनों के सेपरेटली सील करके एक ये अंदर बड़ा कवर का अंदर डाल देते हैं, बड़ा कवर का फिर सील करते हैं. देन दोनों एनवेलप अंदर होता है. टेक्निकल बिड मींस टेंडर, टेक्निकल टेंडर एंड फाइनेंशियल टेंडर दोनों सेपरेट सील्ड कवर्स में अंदर होता है. देन आउटर कवर में सील होकर आपके पास आता है. Then when you open, you will open, and ओपनिंग का भी प्रोसीजर है. ये सारा ट्रांसपेरेंट के बारे में, फेयर प्रोसीजर के बारे में जब डिस्कस करते हैं उस समय बताएंगे. देन ओपन करने के बाद फर्स्ट ऑल द टेक्निकल कोटेशंस, technical bids will be separated. First, they will be studied by an expert or expert committee. उसको देकर हमारा स्पेसिफिकेशन, टेक्निकल डिटेल्स, जिस टेक्निकल स्पेसिफिकेशन के साथ हमें ये मटेरियल चाहिए उसका बारे में उन लोग क्या कोट करते हैं उसको स्टडी करेंगे. उसमें ये ठीक है, ये ठीक है हमारे लिए, दिस इज व्हाट इज वांटेड. Then next one, yes, this is what is wanted. Third one, no, it is not according or as per our requirement, rejected. Then the fourth, rejected. Fifth, वो ठीक है. Then once all the quotation technical bits are opened, studied, then rejected को दूर रख देंगे. And not only that technical quotation rejected, but their financial quotations will also be removed. एंड ओनली टेक्निकल कोटेशन जिसका एक्सेप्ट होता है उन्हीं का फाइनेंशियल कोटेशन फिर खोला जाता है. सो दैट इज हाउ 2 बिट सिस्टम दैट इज डन. सो should satisfy the price selected goods is consistent with the quality. So आपका क्वालिटी क्या चाहिए एंड उसका मुताबिक रेट है कि नहीं. कम, इट शुड बी, द प्राइस शुड बी commensurate with what is the quality. Then should place on record details of the considerations based on which procurement decisions were taken. Procurement, मैं खरीदने के लिए एक डिसीजन ले लिया, I am the procurement authority to procure. So मेरा डिसीजन कैसा अराइव किया है, किस लिए मैं इसको अप्रूवल दिया, that should be in writing. So that is transparency, that is fairness. The complete procurement circle from date of issuing tender to date of finalizing contract should be published. Published. Hereafter, everything will be required to be published. Published where? पुराना जमाने में all to be published in newspapers. वो क्या है, yellow pages. उसमें सारा कुछ ऐसा advertisement. वो now it is not there. Almost all websites, Central Procurement, Public Procurement Portal, Central Public Procurement, GEM, गवर्नमेंट ई मार्केट प्लेस, उसका पोर्टल, अपना डिपार्टमेंट का वेबसाइट, ये सब में पब्लिश करना है. पब्लिश करना है मतलब इट इज ओनली ऑनलाइन. द कंप्लीट प्रोक्यूरमेंट सर्टिफिकेट, ये क्या क्या पोस्ट करना है, दैट इज टेंडर कब इश्यू होगा, टेंडर इश्यू होने का, दैट इज हमारा परचेज रिक्वायरमेंट, प्रोक्यूरमेंट प्लान, बजट सैंक्शन होना, इट इज सैंक्शनड, बजट अमाउंट कितना सैंक्शन होता है बाय दिस फर्स्ट और सेकंड वीक ऑफ मे, ये फाइनलाइज हो जाता है. देन फ्रॉम देन 30 days फ्रॉम देन हमें पब्लिश करना चाहिए, वी आर इन नीड ऑफ procuring this many items, our purchase plan will be like that. So from then onwards, whenever you are going to purchase, that should be through tender or any other method. So all this, there are different methods of procurement. So ये सब कुछ ट्रांसपेरेंट होना चाहिए. कैसा टेंडर नोटिस कब इश्यू होगा, कौन सा वेबसाइट में होगा, देन टेंडर आने के बाद कैसा, what is the procedure for opening, then when it is opened, who can be present in the hall where it is opened, then what will be the bid security or EMD. पुराना जमाने में EMD, earnest money deposit बोला जाता है, now it is bid security. Then the successful bidder, कब successful bidder means whose rates are the lowest. Then once it is decided in the presence of everybody, then it is announced lowest bid किसका है, lowest tender किसका है, दो announcement किया जाता है. Then that person is issued with a letter that you can come forward and sign the contract. Then उस समय उसका विद सिक्योरिटी और अर्नेस्ट मनी डिपॉजिट जो टेंडर का साथ जमा किया था उसको वापस किया जाता है, एंड परफॉर्मेंस सिक्योरिटी बोल के और एक सिक्योरिटी, वो जब तक वो पूरा सप्लाई कंप्लीट नहीं होगा उस समय तक हमारे पास पड़ा रहेगा. So that security will be taken. Bid security will be returned, and performance security will be taken from the successful tenderer. But all others whose tenders, whose bids are rejected, their bid security will be returned on the same day or maximum 10-30 days के अंदर उसको वापस किया जाएगा. Then within 21 days the contract has to be, successful bidder जो भी है वो 21 days के अंदर आकर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन करेगा. साइन करने के बाद दैट मे बी या शॉर्ट टर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट और लॉन्ग टर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. तो कैसा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है कि उसमें क्या प्रोविजन, ये सब कुछ ट्रांसपेरेंट होना चाहिए. कुछ भी इधर आके पता करने का जरूरत नहीं होना चाहिए. एवरीथिंग शुड बी ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट. All departments shall place on their website a complete annual procurement plan before commencement of the year. सब लोग अपना वेबसाइट में हमें क्या क्या चीज जरूरत होगा, so that those companies, they are not registered with registered in the GEM portal, or they are not registered with our department. They will come forward and register their name, so that according to the requirement they may be able to quote the rates. Authorities who are competent to incur expenditure may sanction the purchase of goods as per provisions of delegation of financial powers rules. जो procurement का किसके पास power है, that officer, that authority will issue sanctions for the purchase as per delegation of financial powers rules, Dfpr. Departments have been delegated full powers for procurement of goods. Department को पास complete power दिया गया है, but it is not open, that is, it is not without restriction. Unfettered power नहीं है. There are certain conditions to be fulfilled. One, certain financial powers are with the department. Then beyond that, suppose up to purchase up to 10 crores, 50 lakhs, 10 crores, then it is up to the department. Then beyond this, finance ministry. And even in this powers delegated, some items, common use में जो item है, that may be purchased from the GEM portal, that is government e-marketplace. उसमें जितना भी articles available है उधर ही से खरीदना पड़ेगा. Then other than those items which are available in GEM portal, that other rules are there for procurement from open market. उसके लिए departments have full powers. तो ये सारा follow करना चाहिए. Authorities who are competent to incur expenditure may sanction the purchase of goods as per provisions of delegation of financial powers rules. Departments have been delegated full powers for procurement of goods. In case a department does not have required expertise, that is, अपने पास procurement का इतना expertise नहीं है, suppose, then it may project its intent to the Central Purchase Organization, CPO. उनका पास आप इंडेंट भेज सकते हैं. They will have the wherewithal to procure things. Then they will do this for you with the approval of the competent authority. They will use standard forms evolved by the CPO, that is Central Purchase Organization. पहले वो डिपार्टमेंट DGS&D था, अभी abolish हो गया. फिर भी कुछ dedicated sections and departments are there. They are doing this business. Powers for procurement of goods. The ministries, departments have been delegated full powers to make their own arrangements for procurement of goods and services that are not available on GEM. पहले ये देखना चाहिए जेम क्या होता है, गवर्नमेंट ई मिशन ई मार्केट प्लेस, उसमें जितना भी है वो आइटम मैंडेटरीली हम जेम द्वारा ही खरीदना होगा. व्हाट इज जेम वी आर गोइंग टू सी इन द नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ. तो उधर से जो भी आउटसाइड जेम परचेस होना है, then the departments can use other methods. Common use goods and services available on GEM are required to be procured mandatorily from GEM as per Rule 149. Okay. Now, government e-marketplace. ये एक तो टेंडर होता है, बिड. टेंडर इश्यू होता है वन फॉर प्रोक्यूरमेंट, ये सबको पता है. टेंडर नोटिस issued or bid notice is issued or published in the portal, central purchase portal, CPP, central procurement portal, central public procurement portal, CPPP. उसमें पब्लिश करना है, जेम पोर्टल में पब्लिश करना है, देन अपना डिपार्टमेंट का वेबसाइट में पब्लिश करना है. सो पब्लिश करके हम खरीदारी करते हैं. लेकिन जेम क्या करता है, गवर्नमेंट ई मार्केट प्लेस मीन्स देर आर सर्टन कॉमन आइटम्स, there are certain common items required by all the departments. कंप्यूटर हो, उसका स्टेशनरी कंज्यूमेबल हो, प्रिंटर हो, एंड ये क्या मशीन है, जेरॉक्स मशीन हो, फोटोकॉपियर एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट. कॉमन यूज हर एक डिपार्टमेंट में इसका रिक्वायरमेंट हमेशा होते रहता है. फाइल कवर्स फॉर दैट मैटर. So all these things, these are all common use items required by all the departments. उसके लिए इन लोग गवर्नमेंट में, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स में एक टेंडर फ्लोट करते हैं. फ्लोट करके तो टेंडर मंगवाते हैं, लेकिन दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू परचेस नाउ. दे आर गोइंग टू डिसाइड who are all having this particular item required commonly by all the departments. ये सारा आइटम कौन सा सप्लायर के पास होता है, so that they will collect the information, they will collect details about the credibility of that business में. ये बिजनेस में कब से है, इनका मार्केट में स्टैंडिंग क्या है, इनका प्रोडक्ट या क्वालिटी क्या है, ऑल दीज थिंग्स विल बी डिसाइडेड. ये सब कुछ इन लोग शॉर्टलिस्ट करेंगे एंड दे विल रजिस्टर सच सप्लायर्स विथ देम, दैट इज कॉमन परचेज प्लेस में उनको उनका नाम रजिस्टर करेंगे फॉर 1 to 3 years period. Then their names will be uploaded. These items are available for supply with these companies, firms. ऐसा करके these items, that is items, name of the item, quality of the item, and the person or organization or manufacturer or supplier, उनका detail, उनका credibility, and the fact that their registration with the Ministry of Commerce for a specific period, ये सारा कुछ अपलोड हो जाएगा. सो इट इज ओपन फॉर ऑल टू सी. मेरे को ऐसा चीज उसमें से कुछ चीज चाहिए, सपोज 4 कंप्यूटर, एक फोटोकॉपियर, एक प्रिंटर, इतना चाहिए. सो आई नीड नॉट गो आउटसाइड. आई कैनॉट गो आउटसाइड फॉर ओपन मार्केट परचेज. I have to, if these items are listed in the government e-marketplace, then I am expected to purchase only from GEM. Only from, no, not from outside. Suppose certain items which are required by my department, but it's not found in GEM, उसके लिए separate rule है. उसके लिए separate rule है. I can go, different methods are there. Open tender, limited tender, single tender, 2-bid system, and things like that. Reverse auction and all that. All these methods are available for procurement, and things which can be purchased without quotation. ऐसा भी कुछ है. Quotation is very essential in the government purchase. जो भी परचेस का बात आता है उसमें कोटेशन का बिना परचेस नहीं होता है. बट इन सर्टेन केसेस, exceptionally in up to a limit of जो भी रजिस्टर्ड सप्लायर है उसका क्रेडिबिलिटी, उसका क्रेडेंशियल्स, तो उनका स्टैंडिंग इन द मार्केट, उसका सर्टिफिकेट जेम, दैट इज मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स विल गिव। वो कितना ट्रस्ट होती है, कितना रिलायबल है, तो उसके बारे में द मिनिस्ट्री विल गिव। लेकिन प्राइस के बारे में इंडिविजुअल मिनिस्ट्रीज दे हैव टू वेरीफाई and satisfy themselves about the price. The procuring authorities will certify the reasonability of rates. The GEM portal shall be utilized by the government buyers for direct online purchase as under. तो सीधा वो द रजिस्टर्ड सप्लायर्स जो भी है उनसे सीधा परचेस कर सकते हैं। ओनली थिंग you are required to call for quotations from those suppliers, registered suppliers, not from outside. Only from the registered suppliers आप quotation call for करेंगे, then you will decide. क्या क्या कैसा है? Following means up to 50,000, up to rupees 50,000 through any of the available suppliers on the GEM, meeting the requisite quality, specification, and delivery period. Suppose it is relating to motor vehicles, there is no limitation. वो 50,000 ऐसा कुछ लिमिटेशन नहीं होता है। मोटर व्हीकल परचेस के लिए नो सीलिंग ऑन ऑटोमोबाइल्स। देन नंबर 2, above 50,000 and up to 10 lakhs, above 50,000 and up to 10 lakhs through the gem seller whose price is the lowest among the available sellers of at least 3 different manufacturers on on gem, meeting the requested quality, specification and delivery period. That is gem portal में जितना भी है उनसे quotation मांगकर उनसे you have to decide minimum quotation 3, उससे ज्यादा जितना भी मिलता है अच्छा है, then on that basis खरीदाई होगा। Then above 10 lakhs through the supplier having lowest price, meeting the requested quality, specification and delivery period after mandatorily obtaining bids using online bidding or reverse auction tool provided on GEM. अगर आपको इससे ज्यादा खरीदना है, you will not specifically send a letter. सप्लायर्स को डायरेक्टली अप्रोच नहीं करेंगे, ओपन टेंडर इश्यू करेंगे। That on that those registered with the GEM, they can only quote. It is not open tender. It will be tender notice that can be seen and downloaded, and then the quotation can be sent. Bid or tender can be filed by those registered suppliers only. The invitation for the online e-bidding reverse auction will be available to all the existing sellers or other sellers registered on the portal and who have offered their goods or services under the particular product service category as per terms conditions of GEM. पहले GEM में जो भी पहले से ही registered हैं उनके पास ये requisition जाएगा. The above monetary ceiling is applicable only for purchases through GEM. वो 50,000 to 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs and above, ये सारा monetary limit जो है, now what we have discussed above, all these are purchases from GEM. For purchases, if any, outside GEM, relevant GFR rules will apply. Suppose these purchases, suppose one particular department wants to purchase certain items which are not found in the GEM portal, then other rules will apply. Ministries, departments shall work out their procurement requirements and project their goods and services required in OPEX model or CAPEX model. OPEX model, operational expenditure; CAPEX model, capital expenditure model, and project in the budget estimates. जैसे बजट एस्टिमेट में उनका प्रोविजन पता चल जाता है by the second week of May. project their annual procurement plan of goods. उसके बाद they are expected to project their annual procurement plan of goods and services on GEM portal within 30 days of budget approval. Buying departments may ascertain the reasonableness of prices using the business analytics tools available on GEM, including the last purchase price on GEM, department's own last purchase price, etc. That is business analytics. जो कहीं भी लास्ट में सेलिंग परचेज प्राइस क्या था, other companies, what is the rate at which these items were purchased, आपका डिपार्टमेंट में लास्ट परचेज प्राइस क्या था. These are all helpful in deciding the price. Departments shall not divide their procurements in small quantities to make piecemeal purchases to avoid seeking sanctions from higher authorities. ये देखिए, suppose you want to purchase an item, particular item, maybe consumable or a machinery. If it is, suppose you want to purchase 10 photocopiers, then you may be required to approach the ministry for sanction. Agar, if you are purchasing only 3 photocopiers at a time, then you need not approach the ministry. You can approach the head of the department. Suppose you are purchasing at a time only one machine, then you can purchase using your own powers. Deputy Secretary का power से, आपका head of the office का power से कर ही सकते हैं. Suppose it is the case, for example. So suppose you want 8 photocopiers, क्या होगा? You will have to approach the ministry. So if you apply to ministry, they will ask 100 questions. So to avoid that, our time be time consuming. To avoid that, you may be purchasing one photocopier in the first week of this month, second photocopier next week, third photocopier next week, and the other 3 next month. So this is actually circumventing the rules. Rule का मुताबिक नहीं करते हुए you are cheating. You are cheating. So such breaking the requirement into small quantities and then buying. So that is not proper. It is against financial proprieties. Only in the case of goods and services not available on GEM, the procuring entity can resort to rules 154 and 155 of Dfpr, that is procurement without quotation or procurement on the recommendation of duly constituted local purchase committee. So जो अभी तक जो limitations वगैरह देखे हैं, that is with regard to purchases of items available in GEM portal. जो GEM portal से बाहर आपको you require certain items which are not found in the GEM portal, then in that case you have to follow other rules, the 154 and 155. Registration of supplier. Actually, this 150 should have been should have come earlier. For goods and services not available on GEM, head of ministries, head of the department may also register suppliers of goods and services which are specifically required by that department or office periodically. Registration of suppliers should be done following a fair, transparent, and reasonable procedure, and after giving due publicity. Such registered suppliers should be boarded on GEM as and when the items or service gets listed on GEM. आपको कुछ चीज GEM में नहीं है, and you got a rule number 154 and 155 through which you can purchase from open market. उसके लिए separate procedure है, that we are going to see. तो ऐसा केस में you, instead of giving publicity, give floating tender, you can also, your department can also register registered suppliers, जैसे जेम पोर्टल का सप्लायर्स उधर जेम में रजिस्टर होता है, इसी तरह द आइटम्स विच आर स्पेसिफिकली रिकॉर्ड बाय यू, विच आर नॉट फाउंड इन द कॉमन जेम पोर्टल, उस आइटम के लिए यू कैन रजिस्टर सप्लायर्स, they can register with your department. That also may be for 1 year to 3 years. कुछ दिनों बाद, after 1 year, these items or a few of these items are shifted to a gem portal. पहले gem portal में नहीं था, अभी include होता है. In that case, these registered suppliers may also be transferred there. Their registration, they can go to gem portal, so that the material once transferred, the registration also can be there with the gem portal. Registration of suppliers should be credential, manufacturing capability, quality control systems, past performance, after sales service, financial background, etc. of the suppliers should be carefully verified before registration. Gem portal के लिए तो they have got expertise, Ministry of Commerce, but अपना department के लिए, if we are registering, we have to see all these things. These are guidelines. Credentials, whether they are credible, manufacturing capability, unka capacity, then quality control systems, what are the quality controls being adopted there, then past performance, कहाँ सप्लाई किया था, कितना क्वांटिटी तक सप्लाई किया था, उनका satisfactory performance with other firms and these departments. Then after sales service, एक दफा सेल कर दिया, बेच दिया, उसके बाद कोई सर्विस, प्रॉपर सर्विसिंग नहीं है. So these things have to be ensured. After sales service, financial background, तो आप lowest quote करेंगे, लेकिन टेंडर 10 crore pieces of this item, ऑर्डर एकदम ऑर्डर मिलने से they are not able to supply, ऐसा भी होता है. लोवेस्ट प्राइस किसी पर्टिकुलर कंपनी का होता है, लेकिन when required to supply, they are not able to meet the demand. So these things have to be verified, carefully verified before registration. The suppliers will be registered for a fixed period, that is between 1 to 3 years, depending on the nature of goods. At the end of this period, the registered suppliers willing to continue with the registration are required to apply afresh for renewal of registration. Suppose 3 साल dealing with that registered supplier, 3 years तक वो ठीक चल रहा था, उसके बाद 3 years के बाद ये expire हो गया registration. So in case the supplier is willing to continue supplying to हमारा CGHS का एम्पैनलिंग हॉस्पिटल जो है, तो उन लोग कुछ दिनों डील करके गवर्नमेंट के साथ डील करने के बाद पेमेंट ठीक तरह से पेमेंट नहीं आता है, दे डोंट वांट टू कंटिन्यू दिस एम्पैनलमेंट, उन लोग बोलते हैं हम हट जाते हैं उधर से, नो मोर सर्विस टू CGHS पेशेंट्स. ऐसा you are registering suppliers, वो they are having dealing with us, we are giving orders, they are giving supplies, and if it is satisfactory, they can register again, they will come forward to register again. Suppose payment ठीक तरह से नहीं आता, it is not that every time the fault is with the supplier, fault could be from the department also. हम सप्लाई तो ठीक टाइम पर करते हैं, लेकिन ये गवर्नमेंट वाले जो है, they are not making payment promptly. तो ऐसा होने से they may not like to continue with the registration. At the end of this period of 3 years, the registered suppliers willing to continue with the registration are required to apply afresh for renewal of registration. New suppliers may also be considered for registration at any time, provided they fulfill the required conditions. Performance and conduct of every registered supplier is watched by the concerned ministry or department. कैसा व्यवहार, business dealings कैसा होता है, that is being constantly watched by the ministry or department. Registered suppliers are liable to be removed from the list of approved suppliers if they fail to abide by the terms and conditions of the registration or fail to supply goods on time or supply substandard goods or make any false declaration to any government agency or for any ground in the opinion of the government is not in public interest. सप्लाई ठीक टाइम सर क्वालिटी का मुताबिक सप्लाई नहीं करता है, टाइमली सप्लाई नहीं करता है, एंड क्वांटिटी स्पेसिफाइड सप्लाई नहीं करता है, एंड डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट देता है, देन ये सारा गवर्नमेंट का ओपिनियन में दिस इज अगेंस्ट पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट. ऐसा होने से इन दैट केस they can be blacklisted, they can be removed from the approved suppliers list. The list of registered suppliers be exhibited on the central public procurement portal and websites of the procuring entity e-procurement portals. तो जब भी registered suppliers finally हो जाता है, उनका नाम और the items to be supplied by them, that should be put on portals. Debarment of bidding. तो अगर गड़बड़ करने वाला सप्लायर को डीबार कर दिया जाता है, या बिडर shall be debarred if he has been convicted of an offense under Prevention of Corruption Act. अगर करप्शन केस में कोई किसी को कन्विक्शन हुआ हो, that supplier can be removed from blacklisted from the list of suppliers for a period of 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. Then the Indian Penal Code कोई और सेक्शन से भी इन लोग punishment लिया हो, then in that case also they can be blacklisted for a period of 3 years. Debarred bidder and his successors also will stand debarred for a period not exceeding 3 years. Department of Commerce will maintain such a list of debarred bidders, which will also be displayed on the website of DGSND and in Central Procurement Portal. सब वेबसाइट में चला जाएगा, उनका नाम डिबारमेंट हो गया है, ये इसको टेंडर नोटिस इश्यू नहीं किया जाएगा. उसका अगर उन लोग अप्लाई कर देते हैं, टेंडर फाइल कर देते हैं, उसको आउटराइट रिजेक्ट किया जाएगा. या प्रोक्यूरिंग एंटिटी may debar a bidder or any of its successors from participating in any procurement process undertaken by it for a period not exceeding 2 years if it determines that the bidder has breached code of integrity. अगर कोड ऑफ इंटेग्रिटी को ब्रीच किया है, इंटेग्रिटी में वर्थ नहीं है, तो विश्वास नहीं कर सकता उनको ऊपर, ऐसा कुछ केस बन गया है. Then in that case, these suppliers can be debarred for 2 years. The department will maintain such a list and put on website also. A bidder shall not be debarred without being given an opportunity to represent against such debarment. ऐसा किसी को डिबार करना है, in that case they have to be given an opportunity to explain. उनका तरफ का एक मौका मिलना चाहिए. Establishment of Indian agents, enlistment of Indian agents, ministries, departments, if they so desire, may enlist Indian agents who desire to quote directly on behalf of foreign principals. That is, main manufacturers. Main manufacturers may be in a foreign country. They may have their Indian agents in India. They may quote tenders, they may file tenders. So they will hold the power of attorney. Then whether that quoting, that tender has to be accepted or not to be accepted, that is for the individual departments procuring entity के ऊपर निर्भर है. Reserved items, price preference policy. कुछ आइटम्स को एनकरेज करने के लिए गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हैज इश्यूड सर्टेन ऑर्डर्स, इन्हीं से कुछ खरीदे जाए. सपोज यू वांट टू परचेस खादी आइटम्स, hand woven items. तो उसको खादी एंड विलेज इंडस्ट्रीज कमीशन उससे खादी से लेना है. 20% of such purchase should be from खादी. And some small, क्या बोलते हैं, startup companies, some small and medium industries, startup companies, उनको protect करने के लिए, उनको encourage करने के लिए, these items have to be purchased from them. ऐसा करके कुछ item को reserve किया जाता है. That sort of reservation is possible by the government order. The central government, through administrative instructions, has reserved all items of hand spun and hand woven textiles, khadi goods, for exclusive purchase from Khadi Village Industries Commission of all items of textiles required by central government departments. It shall be mandatory to make procurement of at least 20% from amongst items of handloom origin for exclusive purchase from KVIC and or handloom clusters such as cooperative societies, self-help groups, federations, joint liability group, producer companies, corporations, etc., including weavers having Pehchan cards. Then Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, MSME, have notified procurement policy under Section 11 of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006. The central government may, by notification, provide for mandatory procurement of any goods or services from any category of bidders for or provide for preference to bidders on the grounds of promotion of locally manufactured goods or locally provided services. As a special order, Government of India can issue, so that you will be encouraging local manufacturers. Then these items, whatever we are going to see now, these items, these rules are applicable for purchases of items, goods, which are not found in the GEM portal. Purchase of goods without quotation. Purchase of goods up to value of 50,000, that is rupees 50,000 only, on occasion, on each occasion, may be made without inviting quotations or bids on the basis of a certificate to be recorded by the competent authority in the following format. एक सर्टिफिकेट लेकर कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी से एक सर्टिफिकेट लेकर आप कोटेशन का बिना आप खरीद सकते हैं. I, the purchasing authority, I dash am personally satisfied that these goods purchased are of the requisite quality and specification and have been purchased from a reliable supplier at a reasonable price. ऐसा करके एक सर्टिफिकेट देने से it is a certificate by the procuring entity, authority. Then on the basis, without quotation, you can purchase from a particular dealer. Then purchase of goods by purchase committee. In case a certain items is not available in the GEM portal, purchase of goods costing above 50,000 and up to 5 lakhs on each occasion may be made on the recommendations of a duly constituted local purchase committee consisting of 3 members of an appropriate level as decided by the head of the department. Appropriate level, all gazetted officers are included. The committee will surely survey the market to ascertain the reasonableness of rate, quality, and specifications and identify the appropriate supplier. The committee is responsible for that. They will have to do market survey and then decide who is the appropriate supplier. Before recommending placement of purchase order, the members of the committee will jointly record a certificate as under. एक certificate जैसे वो purchase officer without quotation के लिए एक authority का certificate लिए थे. Here all the 3 members will sign. Certified that we, members of the committee, purchase committee, are jointly and individually satisfied that the goods recommended for purchase are of the requisite specification and quality, priced at the prevailing market rate, and the supplier recommended is reliable and competent to supply the goods in question, and it is not debarred by the Department of Expenditure or the Ministry Department concerned. ऐसा एक सर्टिफिकेट लेकर देने से परचेज कर सकते हैं. Then actual demand for goods should not be divided into small quantities. Because why this condition? Because this is on every occasion. On each occasion, this power to purchase is on each occasion. So if you want to purchase for over 50,000 and above the limit, that is above 50,000 up to 5 lakhs, you can purchase with that certificate. Suppose you want to purchase for 10 lakhs, you split. Once you purchase now, the other week, other day itself, you purchase another 5 lakhs. So to circumvent the rule, you should not purchase, split up your purchases. Purchase by obtaining bids, tenders, except in such in cases covered under Rule 144 and 155. Ministries or departments shall procure goods under their powers by following standard method of obtaining bids in. So two rules quoted above, 154 and 155. One is purchasing goods which are not available in GEM portal without taking quotation. The other one, purchasing goods which are not available in GEM portal on the basis of certificate issued by the local purchase committee. Both these ये दोनों छोड़कर the other items, how they can be purchased in these methods: advertised tender inquiry, limited tender inquiry, two-stage bidding, single tender inquiry, electronic reverse auction. So इस मेथड में कोई भी एक मेथड चुनकर उसमें से हम खरीद सकते हैं. So we'll see in the next class. Okay, good night.